As you said earlier, she's still a very divisive character, but to her success, her role in British politics?
I think her image was really important to her, and she acknowledges that herself as well. In the kind of the narrative, the story of her rise to power, her image change is always featured as kind of a turning point in her career. She had the vocal coaching, which gave her the voice, and she was told to lose the pillbox hats. She was wearing very kind of outdated pillbox hats. She was told to lose those. She kept the pearls, obviously. I think they were a gift from Dennis. She kept the handbags as well, but it's always cited as quite a pivotal moment in her career.
And looking at these suits, I mean, now they look, you know, they kind of look dated, but also not dated in some ways, don't they?
They do. I think the colours are what keeps these particular suits up to date. It is a good selection, I think, that's going on to auction. They're not the kind of colours you'd necessarily associate with her.
No, because we imagine all those different blues, basically.
Exactly, yeah.
And just tell us about the kind of style that she chose. What do you think it was trying to say?
Well, it was, strangely enough, like when you think of power dressing, 80s power dressing, you tend to think of sort of like Joan Collins in Dynasty, enormous shoulder pads, that kind of thing. What Thatcher was doing wasn't actually quite that kind of thing. If you look at her suits, they're quite reminiscent of sort of the 40s and 50s.
Conservative with a small c, aren't they?
Exactly, and that really reflected her sort of socially conservative policies. She was very keen, even though she was a powerful woman herself, she didn't actually do that much to advance women's causes. She was very keen to keep the sort of domestic equilibrium, to sort of advocate the nuclear family, and I think that was reflected through her choice of
Let's talk about what she did and politicians now, because, you know, one of the difficulties about being a female politician is there is a lot of scrutiny about what you wear and what that says about your politics and all the rest of it. We've got Louise, for example, pictures of Louise Mensch, who is quite, you know, well known in sort of fashion stakes, actually, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do think it's a shame. I think sometimes it can be used, the way female politicians look and dress, I think sometimes it can be used to kind of counteract their policies or kind of undermine their policies. And I don't think that's ever really the case with male politicians. I mean, all you've got to go on really is the colour of tie in a lot of cases with male politicians. And I do think that the focus is sometimes too heavy on aesthetics.
What can be done about that, though? I mean, that's really difficult, isn't it?
It is difficult. It is difficult. And I think if you're a female politician, it's kind of a tightrope. You get criticised either way, basically. Either you're Louise Mensch and people are arguing over whether you've had surgery, or you're Hillary Clinton or Angela Merkel, and you're criticised for being too dowdy.
Well, let's have a look at Theresa May, who's a slightly older woman. I mean, does it make any difference, the fact that Louise Mensch, as you said, younger, glamorous, Theresa May slightly older? Is her fashion sense so important?
I think she's quite, her love of shoes and leopard print is quite well chronicled, so I think it is. To be honest, I mean, I was a fashion historian. I personally think it's great that people celebrate what they wear. I think it's something I'd like to see male politicians embrace more, to be honest.
What do you want to see them wearing then?
Well, I mean, maybe leopard print shoes would be taking it a bit far.
Yeah,
but,
maybe, you're right.
They could sort of stretch their sartorial boundaries a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to happen very soon, though. But lovely to meet you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice one.